Hi, everyone. Josh Ledgard from KickoffLabs here, the audience growth platform, where we help you quickly set up lead capture, viral giveaways, and product launches where fans become influencers. Today, I'm continuing my series on startup validation. This episode is on the role of MVPs and mockups. So far in this series, we've talked about validating with mostly text copy. So we haven't really talked about using images and the role that an MVP can play in the validation process. And we want to do that because the messaging is the most important. Can you convince people with words? But I'm not opposed to building things these days when it comes to validating startups, especially mockups. A mockup is a visual representation of your idea. It could be a sketch or a fully designed screenshot of an application, whereas an MVP is a minimum viable product. So the MVP is something that actually aims to solve part of the problem for a segment of your audience for the customers you're after. So obviously, there's a lot more effort involved in an MVP than a mockup. So let's start with talking about mockups. There's a lot of great tools out there for creating mockups, including Balsamiq, Sketch, Figma. All of these can be used to create mockups for you. If you're used to one of them, just use any of the tools. The goal is that you want to be able to create things visually. So things always look great in your head in the shower right after you've thought about them. But can you translate that into a visual concept that gets the point across to potential customers, that helps you sell your idea and do more validation? Because you can even be validating the screenshots, whether or not people like one design versus another, whether they like one UX flow versus another. All of that can be done with mockups. It's a great idea to have them. And after you've collected a certain number of leads, whether that's 100, whether it's 1,000, I can't tell you what the right number of leads is for your business because it depends on if you're building a high volume business or a low volume, high price business. But let's just say you've got a certain number of leads that you're comfortable with that you could share some of these mockups with. And what you should be doing with the mockups is both using them when you post in online communities. We talked about that in the last episode, but also using them to email the people that have signed up. So once you have some people signed up, you should be emailing mockups that you're generating to the list that you have and saying, what do you guys think about this? Just getting the conversation going, getting them more engaged with the mockup throughout the process. So that's the nice thing about mockups is it gives you that visual representation. Some people, no matter how good you are communicating verbally or with text, are visual learners. And so some people are only going to get it once they see a picture. That's another great reason to have the mockup. Beyond the mockup, when should you go ahead and build your MVP? Wait until you've heard some validation from the mockups, the direction you're going, because no matter how simple the tool is that you're using to build your MVP, whether you are using a no-code tool like Bubble or Webflow to build an MVP, whether you're using Zapier behind the scenes to power it or something else, or whether you're even just building a full-blown sketch of a Rails application from a starter kit for Rails. It takes more effort to build this. It just does. So I've built things on Bubble. I've built things on Webflow. The mockups are infinitely easier. The advantage you get from building the MVP, especially if you can do it on a no-code platform, is that it does get you a walkthrough path. And so similar to sending people an image, throughout the waitlist process, you could be sending people, hey, what do you think of this MVP? There's no authentication, there's no login even, but you can try it out. And so maybe this isn't even a product, but a minimum viable test. And so I would start there. It's like, it's one step beyond a mock-up, but not quite a product yet. You haven't added accounts, you haven't added billing, you don't have to worry about Stripe, you're not connecting anything else up. So what is the minimum viable test that you can run to prove that people like the workflow you have in mind for your product? It helps you speed up that validation without having to build all the extra stuff around that a product actually needs in terms of like support documentation, videos, the billing I talked about, the users, the role of teams. But if you can have both the mock-up and then just a walkthrough where it's walking people through the most basic scenarios, it's a really powerful tool that you can share with people and get more people on board. So what is the minimum viable test that you can run to prove that people like the workflow you have in mind for your product? Speaking of which, that is going to be the next episode of this series. We're going to talk about pivoting to scale and growth and getting to yes as part of the process in the next two parts of this video series. So I hope you've enjoyed today's discussion on mockups and MVPs. Yes, you should go build them. Yes, you should wait until you have a certain number of people on your list that you feel comfortable that you can share it with. And yes, it's a great way to get those people engaged, to get them sharing, to get them telling others about what you're building, to get them excited as part of the process. You can do that today with KickoffLabs. So go to KickoffLabs.com today. Set up your viral waitlist if you haven't already. Start collecting leads, start sending out updates to those leads you're collecting, and see what kind of feedback you get. I look forward to working with you guys. See you later in the next episode.